information on advising for the athlete. We are Group 8. My name is Daniel Johnson, and these are my partners.
I'm Riley Panther.
Robert Strader.
And today we're going to be taking your group of freshmen and sophomores, through sort of the academic advising world. For freshmen, we're going to introduce you to what academic advising is, the way that it will be useful in your lives, and show you that it is in fact vital for you to succeed both on the field and in the classroom. And for sophomores, we just want to reiterate the use of your academic advisors, have you help the freshmen along in learning what advising can do for them, both on the field and in the classroom, and the ways that you can best utilize your academic advisor. So to begin, we're going to show a short 3-minute video from Penn State's athletic department and the way that advising has benefited them. Pay close attention to what the student athletes themselves are saying about their advisors, and try and pick out 2 to 3 things that the academic advisor does that is maybe unique or something that you didn't think an academic advisor would really do. Now that we've watched that, we could all come back together as a class, and I'm going to split you into groups of 3 or 4, and make sure that each group has a mix of freshmen and sophomores. What we're going to do is have you guys discuss amongst yourselves 4 to 5 things about why academic advising is useful. Maybe come up with some reasons as to why you might schedule an advising meeting. The sophomores maybe guide the freshmen and come up with things that an advisor has helped you do, or things that they can help you do. So take a moment to discuss that, and then we'll come back together as a class. Now that we've done that, everyone's come up with some great information. We see that academic advisors can help us schedule classes. We see academic advisors are essential in the mental health of a student athlete. They can help us along with personal problems. Schedule an advising appointment isn't just about making classes. It can also be about dropping a class, maybe adding another class, ensuring that you're on track eligibility-wise and for the number of hours you need to be eligible. I'll now pass to my partner, Riley Panther, who will discuss academic advising further.
All right, hey guys. So for this portion, we're going to take a look at a YouTube video with Richard Sherman, in which he talks about time management, or really lack thereof, for student athletes. And you know, it's his perception. He's a passionate guy. He went to Stanford. He's very smart, but I want you to really pay attention to what he's talking about and kind of relate it to your own situation as a freshman and or a sophomore. So for freshmen, what are some activities or habits that you can engage in to ensure that you make the most of your busy schedule? And for sophomores, what are some activities or habits that you can engage in, or that you've engaged in during your freshman year to make the most of your busy schedule? And just come up with a few ideas there, and while you watch it, just think to yourself, does this apply to me? Have I had the same experiences that he's talking about? And then to go further with that, I want you to also wonder, do you agree with his assessment of student athletes not having or lacking the time to take advantage of their free education, and why or why not? And finally, what can our academic advising department here at U of L do to assist you as a student athlete in adapting to a rigorous schedule? And just from this, I want you to think about, what can you learn, or what techniques do you have to help you manage your time effectively as a student athlete?
Okay, so I'm going to talk just a little bit about what exactly is the difference between being a sophomore and a freshman, and how your advising appointments with your advisor will be different between the 2 years. It's very important as a freshman. You come in and you've never experienced college, college athletics, all the time that you have with school and your sport and everything. And really, as a advisor for a freshman, I think their biggest role is helping you, like Riley said, maintain good time management. And you need to get, like, for us during baseball, we have to be done with all our classes by noon, and we practice at 1 o'clock, so we have to schedule all of our classes between 8 a.m. and 11:50 or 12:15, depending on how long the class is. But we have to, like I said, we have to be done by noon so we can have practice. And as a freshman, you don't really know, most people don't know what major they want, so as an advisor, you just need to get them in gen eds, maybe 1 or 2 classes in the type of major that they think they want to go into. And then, obviously, as a sophomore, you've taken some classes and you have a better idea of what you might want to major in. So by the time you're a sophomore, you need to be enrolled into some classes that you think, you might want to major in, just to see what that major might be like. For me, I had one major and I did classes for that for a year and a half, and then actually decided to change my major. So I lost basically an entire semester for classes that I, ultimately didn't need for my major. And then stuff like that. It's kind of like I wish that I would have taken a few classes freshman year just to kind of see what was out there instead of taking classes based on a major that I thought I wanted to do that I really didn't want to do. So I think that that's very important. And in order to do this and have a successful advising appointment, I think that the advisor needs to go in with an open mind into what the student ultimately wants to do, and not necessarily try to push them into getting or deciding on their major too soon like I did, and just kind of let the student talk to the advisor and figure out what they want to do on their own.
And real briefly, we skipped over a little portion, another video. We just wanted to give you some more in-depth look at the do's and don'ts of your actual academic advising appointments. And now that we've done that, let's look a little bit further at, there's a video that actually discusses maybe some of the questions that you could ask or what to be prepared for. And that video is on YouTube. The link is on our lesson plan. And it comes from the University of Texas. And it's actually a group of student athlete, freshmen and sophomores, who are talking with the various advisors from different majors. And what I want you to look at with this video is what kind of questions can you ask your advisor. Not everyone's going to want to go into the same major, and we don't want to cluster you all into the same majors. So be prepared to really examine what kind of career opportunities there might be for you outside of just your sport, as well as outside of maybe what some of the other student athletes that you're friends with or involved in a sport with are actually going to go towards. So, while watching this video, really make sure to be aware of what kind of questions are being asked, as well as what kind of things are being brought up.
And so now that we've viewed this video, it is imperative that as a student athlete, you know the way that you learn, the way that best facilitates your learning, and the way that you have done academics your whole life moving into college shouldn't change drastically. So what Riley is going to talk about is the journey that students take toward learning who they are as a student, the different types and learning styles that they have, and we want you to really pay attention and try and pick out the style or type of learner that you are, so that you can better know and facilitate a meeting with an advisor. Because when you meet, you want to ensure that you're in classes that you will enjoy, and you're in classes that will help you work towards your academic goals. It's not just the advisor putting you in classes or the advisor telling you where to go. You want to make sure that you're enjoying school and that you're driven to succeed in what major you want, and it's done in a way that best facilitates your learning. So Riley.
Alrighty, so I'm going to want you to look up under course objectives for SPAD 561. I want you to look up Week 8 Student Learning, and specifically the article titled King 2003. And within this article, there's several exhibits that really, I think, can help us to guide you all, or to really help you guide yourselves as freshman or sophomore student athletes through the process of just what it means to advance intellectually as a student, and to really embark on that student journey that you'll have from freshman to senior year. So let's first look at Perry's scheme. That's exhibit 11.1. And in Perry's scheme, you'll notice there's an area called dualism, the second area being multiplicity, the third is relativism, and then finally the fourth is a commitment to that relativism, or commitment in relativism. So also what you'll notice is that everyone advances through these stages or positions at different paces. You might find that you're already, as a freshman, you're already at that multiplicity stage, but some, and probably most, are going to be more towards the dualism stage. And with that, dualism has positions 1 and 2 involved with that, which involves students believing that right answers exist to all questions and that authorities have these answers. So there's not a whole lot of independence there with the freshmen. We're really just being in that dualism stage. But as you move on to position 2, the world is viewed in right and wrong terms, and some uncertainty is recognized. And authorities or authoritative figures challenge students to find answers on their own. So, your teacher's not just going to want you to listen to everything they say and not gain your own opinion out of that. You have to do your own individual research to really better yourself and to better your education. And then moving on from there, stages 3 and 4 involve multiplicity. And within multiplicity, uncertainty is viewed as temporary in areas in which authorities have yet to find answers. And then in position 4, uncertainty is so extensive that all opinions are valid and students rely less on authorities. So that's good that, in that position 4, you're not relying as much on authorities, but if you think that all opinions are valid, you're not totally examining or researching what's being said. Because while everyone is entitled to their opinion, that does not mean that every opinion is valid and or true. And then moving on from there, relativism. And at this point, there's a major change in thinking that occurs. And the student views knowledge as contextual and makes judgments based on evidence and arguments, or based on evidence and arguments. So that's position 5 and 6. And, usually you're going to find yourself at this stage, maybe in your sophomore year, because you're really just taking everything in freshman year. It's a completely new experience, and while it's okay to take everything in and process it in your own way, you can't just take it all in and not have your own opinion about it. Authoritative figures are there for a reason. They are there to guide you, but that's what it is. It's guidance. From there, you have to create your own sort of opinions or arguments and validity to a situation. And then finally, commitment to relativism. And this is positions 7 through 9. And within these positions, students develop a personalized set of values, lifestyles, and identity by testing out and evaluating various commitments. So you're really going to probably expand upon your commitment to relativism as you go through the latter stages of your sophomore year into your junior year and finally your senior year. So basically, the reason for looking over this is just to show adult development and the role that higher education plays in fostering intellectual development, especially for the student athlete, because you all are so busy with your sport and just generally with your schedule that goes on with your sport, that sometimes it's hard to really take in the actual student experience. So hopefully this Perry scheme can kind of give you a little bit of guidance on how to go about developing your own valid opinions. And so going from there, let's look at Exhibit 11.3, and this is in the same article by King from 2003. And this is called The 4 Phases of the Journey Towards Self-Authorship. And this really does play off Perry's scheme. And basically you're going to see that there's three different dimensions here that are examined: the epistemological, the interpersonal, and the interpersonal dimensions. And in the epistemological dimension, you're looking for how do you know if something is correct. So that kind of plays back to Perry's scheme of doing your research and understanding that the world isn't just based off of right and wrong answers. There's more to it than that. And then also look at the interpersonal dimension of who are you as a student, not just a student athlete. And also the interpersonal dimension of what relationships do you want with others. And these dimensions are examined through 4 phases, like we said earlier. Those 4 phases being following formulas, crossroads, becoming the author of one's life, and then finally, internal foundation. So as you move through those phases, understand that there are different dimensions that come with each of those phases, and that it's not just your interpersonal connections, it's not just interpersonal or epistemological. They're all combined into what would be your student experience or your journey from freshman to senior year. And then finally, we're going to look at Exhibit 11.5, which is Types and Learning Styles, and that's also under the same article by King. And I really want you to look at the various learning styles that are put down here, the perceptions that are gathered from these learning styles, and understand which ones you fall under or which ones you might not fall under. So why do you think that you fall under a certain stage and maybe not another one? And how can you gain or benefit from a specific stage versus another one? And from there, I just want you to really kind of put these stages or these exhibits together and understand how they all affect each other. And take a few minutes to do that.
Now, once you've done that, and once we now have a better understanding of a class as a whole, who we are in our learning journey, maybe the ways that we learn, where we are in our journey towards self-authorship of our own lives, it is time to simply prepare for your academic advising meeting. We've seen through the videos we've watched in this class some of the things that Robert, as a first-hand student athlete, has discussed what academic advising can do for you in terms of your advisor being a mentor, your advisor helping you schedule classes and ensuring you're eligible, your advisor helping you stay on track with homework, time management-wise, making sure your classes are done in time for you to get to practice. Now we want you to think about you've scheduled an academic advising meeting and you're now preparing for it. What we want to ensure is that you're going into this meeting prepared, you're going into this meeting confident in what you want to get out of it, and you're going into it knowing that your advisor is a resource. So moving forward, there's 3 things that we want you to do moving into advising meeting. We want you to write down notes and questions that you've come up with through this class on things that you may want to ask an advisor. Questions you might have in terms of major you might be looking into, in terms of questions you have managing your time, questions you have facilitating your own life in terms of juggling practice and academics. The second thing we want you to do is to take a look at classes. Don't go in blindly. We have ULink as a source at the University of Louisville, www.ulink.com. You're able to go to ULink and explore classes. In the Student Services tab on ULink, you'll be able to click Add or Drop Classes, and it'll bring up a tab with Schedule of Classes. Moving into there, I want all of us in this class to take a look at classes they may be interested in majors. Write some of those down going into the meeting, especially the freshmen, on things that they might want to look at and they might want to move into academically. The third thing is be open important to developing a relationship with your advisor. They're not just there for academics. Advisors can help you through personal issues. Advisors can be an outlet off the field, someone who isn't a coach, but who genuinely cares about your well-being. There's much more to academic advising than simply the academic side. So when you're preparing for a meeting, don't go in with the thought that the advisor simply wants to ensure you're eligible, wants to give you classes and help you get out of there. As we saw in the Penn State video, students use their advisors as a resource for everything, and we want to ensure that our students at the University of Louisville are doing that as well. So we'd like to thank you. We hope that you've learned a lot from this video and that you will now be prepared to move into your academic advising meeting. Thank you.